Thank you. Okay, we're going to start the meeting. Where'd the gavel go? Who said that? Come to order, please. All right, roll call. Tim Chiara is present. Linda Alexander.
Here.
Thomas Aceves is late. He will be here about 6 o'clock, he said. Lisa Benavides.
Here.
David Eby.
Here.
Catherine Parankma is not going to be here tonight. And Claudine Pedroncelli. All right, we have 5 members present. We have a quorum. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. This is going to be a bit of an unusual meeting because we don't have any special speakers. Do I have to sit down and say all this?
What's that?
Do I have to sit down and say all this?
A little closer with the microphone.
Oh, sorry. All right, so this meeting tonight is mostly going to be dedicated to talking about some changes we want to make with the format of the meeting and different things. So we're not here to specifically address any issues except those that you bring up in public input or from our subcommittees, Pile Road, Upper Lakes Traffic Safety, and Upper Lake Levees. So the first thing we'll do is the minutes approval. Does everybody seen the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. All right, the minutes are accepted. Thank you. And public input. And one of the changes that has been suggested to me by at least one person is that I stop moving around so much.
How's everything done?
We'll just have to find a way. And the other suggestion, David, do you want to talk about some of those things?
One of the big changes. One of the big changes is that if you wish to address any issue at the Worth meeting, you'll do it from the lectern over there.
Only.
You will not do it addresses from your seat unless you're disabled or handicapped, and it would be a great trouble to get up there. That would be the only exception. In the old days, if you remember, Gene, you had 3 minutes, just like the sign says, and they had chairs that you could sit at as the speaker spoke, and then there was no walking from this end of the room to there. You were already over there. But we're trying to move it along in a timely, flat fashion, and if you're speaking on an issue from the floor, you have 3 minutes. You get all your thoughts in there in those 3 minutes, because you will not speak again on the same issue unless the chair recognizes you for more time.
What?
That's your privilege.
Okay, I know that, but
So we're trying to move it along in a reasonable fashion, get it more business-like, and with that, Tim, I guess you're on to public input.
You will relinquish
Yes.
your time. Okay. All right. Is there any public input? Lynn, go to the microphone. And I have to turn it on. All right? And don't touch it. Just speak into it. 3 minutes.
Okay. Testing. Can you hear me? Lynn Orstano. I live at 4088 Manzanilla Drive in Nice. And I've been cleaning up a lot of trash on the corner of Hudson and Manzanilla. And I'm looking for some help to take some of it to the dump, because I have no way of taking the trash to the dump. There's like 5 tires, abandoned tires, and an extra size walker thing. So maybe after the meeting, if someone wants to help volunteer with me to take it to the dump, I do need help to do that, because I'm just trying to clean up the blight and the trash by myself where I live on my street. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any more public input? Oh, there we go. Angie, is it on? Is it green?
Got it. Good evening. My name is Angie Carter. My husband and I own the Narrows Family Resort out in Blue Lakes. Sorry, I haven't been here for the last couple of meetings. I've been out of town with family stuff and so forth. Just to give you guys a quick update, I know that Juan and Amy have been here for the last couple of meetings talking about their permit process for Rancho Nova's major use permit to have their event center out there. Their hearing before the Board of Supervisors was yesterday, just to let you know. It was an appeal on their original permit. Thank you. And that permit was, again, denied at the Board of Supervisors level. The main reasons, of course, for the denial were that the Board of Supervisors gave was for the noise level and then for fire reasons. And we hope that we can come to some kind of agreement with them so that they can find a way to have some kind of business out there, hopefully some kind of resort like the rest of us are, that's not amplified music out there, that's not 250 people, something, you know, hopefully smaller, similar to what we already have there, that's not going to be a burden on the other people, the other resorts, such as ourselves. It's not going to be hazardous with that tiny little road. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Angie. Any other public input?
Can I ask you a question?
Can you ask who? Yes, you may. Oh, one second.
Angie, are you saying that the,
But you can't talk back.
oh,
Go ahead.
that the event center is not being used at this time?
Angie, I can answer that. No, it is a private residence. They can do what they want under the private residence side, but the major use permit was denied. And no, there will not be any events. It was done, I believe, without prejudice. That means they can reapply again. And all the permitting process that they used already, they can reuse those same articles and those same studies. But the beach access will be addressed, how to get a van that carries 12 people to get 250 out in 9 minutes. That'll be addressed. The fire thing, if there was something that went on there, let alone the Narrows trying to escape and all the homes escaping, another 250 there on foot. Disaster, yes. And so all those are going to be addressed, and right now they have to reapply. That's where the business entity is. The home entity, I do not know.
I know we don't want to do any back and forth, but let me just clarify. So the major use permit was denied without prejudice, and the appeal was denied. So once the minutes are typed up, could take up to 45 days, then they may reapply, and they were given guidelines into what they should reapply for. And that would be something smaller and addressing the noise issues. So that's their guidelines, is
But it's
making it smaller and things like that. They can use, like he said, all the same tests that they've already done and things like that. So hopefully that will save them some money. And hopefully they will meet with the planning department first and take some of their suggestions that they gave them already and what would be good for the area, the community, and things like that.
And it sounded like the sound things were all on site. They didn't do any at across the road, down the road,
Correct.
anywhere else. That was
Correct.
also one of the directives, is they may want to include
Increase the testing.
a
Yeah,
testing
do
area.
testing per se in our resort. And the Board of Supervisors attorney, he was really good. He said that the testing is all great, but the testing was very specific in its conclusions, saying that the speakers have to be at a very specific height, a very specific angle pointed down towards the ground, a very specific volume, but then once people start talking, then you're going to want to turn that volume up to get to hear that music. And who's going to be there to say, no, you can't turn that music up any higher, or you got to quiet your people down, or things like that. So he was very helpful in clarifying why the noise study was not conclusive enough to point things out. So.
But at the Board of Supervisors, our supervisor reclused himself.
Recuse themselves?
Recused, yes. After, but he did. He did not vote, did not discuss. And it was a 3-1 vote to deny, with Moak from Middletown,
Either one?
the one for it.
Okay. All right. This is public input. Thank you, Julia.
That's okay, Julia Carrera. I am here representing all the people that have called me and emailed me since the approval of the Scotts Valley Energy project, biochar project. Up until 4:30 tomorrow, there is an opportunity to appeal. There is a group trying to get the money together to do that, $1,725. A PE, a physical engineer by the name of Bill, I can't remember his last name at the moment, and I apologize for that, and myself are willing to donate time to help people if they want to appeal. And I told everybody that I was going to be at the Worth meeting tonight, and I would announce that that's what's happening. But right now, the Board of Supervisors approved the project, the Planning Commission approved the project unanimously. Ms. Price was not at the meeting at that time because she was going over to be inducted into the City of Lakeport City Council. Thank you.
Julia. All right, any more public input? Okay. The next item on the agenda says Worth going forward. That might be kind of a vague item, but my intent was to discuss something along the lines of things we want to add or subtract or modify as far as our format and the way we conduct our meetings. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the first things that's going to happen is that I'm going to be sitting down more. So, because I know I'm distracting, and I apologize for that, but I get excited and I can't control myself. Okay, so, and one other thing, we're talking about having a meeting in Nice, and we're looking at finding a venue to use in Nice. We might be able to use the Nice Event Center, but we haven't finalized anything about that. So that's going to be an ongoing project. And the next item is that next month we're going to have elections for officers. I did look at our bylaws, and it said, yes, you should have elections, but it did not specify, it did not have a time frame for them. It didn't say yearly or anything. But obviously we know that most organizations are yearly, like our Board of Supervisors, they change chairman every year. So next month we're going to have elections for chairman and vice chairman. We're going to get some vice chairmans going. They're in the bylaws, and we've never really. I always considered that everybody on the council is a vice chairman, and the vice chairman is supposed to be able to run the meeting in case And basically, everybody should be able to do that. But we just haven't done it. And so we're gonna try to basically try to do things by the book, if you will. Okay. And
Tim,
yes.
if we're gonna talk about elections, maybe now is a good time to let everyone know that a couple of our terms technically end on December 31st. So if
Yes.
anyone is interested in joining the town hall, the application is available now online.
So can I?
Yeah.
So some of us didn't reapply.
I did.
You
Right,
did?
right, but you can, multiple people
Oh,
can apply.
you're saying.
Yeah,
you're
I'm not saying we're gonna be off. I'm saying I did reapply and I'm
Okay,
interested.
so, but it's up to the Board of Supervisors to
To
decide.
a point, right.
Okay.
So if you're interested in applying, this would be a good time to apply to be on the town hall. Not saying, don't kick us off. Yeah.
So,
Or kick us off.
Or kick us off if you don't.
and to find that application online, you go to boards and commissions, and then you'll see the town halls listed. They all go to the same application, but if you go to the Worth one, there's a link where you can put in your application online. So you go to the county portal, you go to boards and commissions, then you go to Western Region Town Hall, and then you go to the link to the link is at the bottom of the page. And we like to welcome Supervisor Crandall. Okay. So, does anyone on the council have anything along the veins of what I've been discussing that they would like to? I mean, David had some comments that were pretty, similar to what I'm talking about. Just sort of tightening up the operation some.
I'd be curious about the proposal to create a town hall in Nice.
It's not a town hall, just to have our meeting there.
Oh, okay.
Have a meeting of the Worth there.
Are you talking about switching month to month, or?
Well, we'd have to get a venue first before we decide whether we can do any switching at all. But I don't know that it would necessarily be one on, one off sort of thing. But it could be like once a quarter or something like that. I haven't really thought about that part too much. Thomas?
Yeah, and just so you all know, I have Starlink, so whatever location you guys decide.
You have Starlink. Oh, okay.
And as the one that travels almost the farthest to get here, I would be opposed to going to Nice. I'd have to rethink my seat.
Okay. You mean like even if we only went there every once in a while?
I like here.
Can I add some context to that?
Lisa?
Yeah, I was a part of the conversation where that was proposed, and the catalyst for that was there was a comment that this meeting tends to be covering topics that are Upper Lake heavy, but it represents more than the Upper Lake community. And so we were talking, it was Tom, Tim, and I, and we were talking about, well, is there a barrier for our Nice community members or our other community members, Blue Lakes, or I'm sure Lake Pillsbury, to participating in these meetings, and is location part of that? So the idea is not to take it out of Upper Lake entirely, it's to maybe increase access for our Nice community members to participate in the meeting.
I personally wouldn't mind having a meeting in Blue Lakes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think you could find.
That's.
I do not believe you could find a place.
A venue, yes.
No, there's places available, but they're all.
Commercial.
Yes.
Okay.
Mercenary is the word.
We'd need funding for that. Thomas.
You have funding, and I travel the farthest for these meetings.
Well, I'm wondering if we did have a meeting in Nice, what would the participation be? Because we have certain people that do come from Nice now, And how, do we feel like we're going to increase our numbers of participation?
I would hope so. I would hope that if we sort of reached out to Nice a little, they might reach back. Just the idea that I mean, we have very much been concentrating on Upper Lake. You know, and we do have a subcommittee that is centered in Nice on Pile Road. And
So in Nice, are you looking at Robinson as being Nice?
well, I mean, Robinson would be Nice. That is correct.
I think that Thomas would probably be a good person to have present for this conversation if we wanted to go into it deeper. But the idea would be, yes, we would outreach to Nice residents to try and increase participation from Nice community members in the meetings. So we don't know the answer right now. The goal would be to increase the number of people who attend the meeting, but we wouldn't know that until we conducted outreach.
Can I get you to go to the podium? Thanks, EJ.
Yeah, no, I was just going to add, the Nice Event Center, I know that, would you know what she charges for?
I have no idea.
Maybe we can.
But that's one thing we're going to investigate.
Maybe we could talk to her about that, because again, in the funding that each town hall has, it might be within the amount. It shouldn't be that much, right? To be able to have a couple meetings there a year.
Yeah,
we can make that happen.
Yeah, that's like I say, part of the investigation we'd like to do. I mean, it'd be nice to kind of spread us around a little bit, I thought.
Maybe Blue Lakes, you know.
Would be nice. I think that'd be great.
Just as long as we use the same night and the same.
Yeah.
Everything the same as we normally do, the same night, the same, you know.
Yeah, that can be.
Wednesday, different locations, no matter. We have Starlink, we can, you know, we got it.
So that's literally, I mean, we don't need any internet. You've got it.
I got it.
Oh, praise God.
Until that materializes, how can we outreach to Nice at this moment?
I don't know.
What would be the best way to?
I would say we just table the Nice discussion until Tom gets here.
Okay.
And as soon as Tom here, come
He
back
might
to
have
this
some more
agenda
thoughts.
item.
All right, sounds good.
And I think
Yep.
it would behoove us to listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, well, he seemed enthusiastic about the idea. All right. So, I don't know if I have anything else.
Now, moving at the Blue Lakes, granted, there's around a handful, 5 or 6, that may show up at a thing in Blue Lakes, but if you're looking for greater numbers, I would say the same people that would show up there are
the
here.
same people, yeah. But, you know, it's not necessarily, it's just the kind of idea that we're representing the whole area rather than just Upper Lake or Nice or Blue Lakes. Or Lake Pillsbury. I mean, that would be wonderful. That'd be wonderful to go there. We could do Starlink too. But it's like they're the unknown quantity, right? All right. Okay. Any other thoughts?
I have another
Council.
one. Sorry. Along the lines of outreach, I think that this might kick off a good conversation for how can we. I think we all saw on Facebook the last couple of weeks since about the biochar. There is a lot of community members who have thoughts and ideas.
Opinions,
Well, everyone got one of those.
Yeah.
But they aren't able to make it, or they don't come to the meetings, or they didn't know about the meetings. So I wonder if in the new year that can be something that we talk about doing outreach. Maybe we do some door knocking or good old fashioned canvassing, phone banking, mailers, even just flyers and social media posts. And I'm thinking there are demographics of our community that I don't think we see here. And I would love to get their opinion. And that's our job as the advisory council. So maybe we can, and I would spearhead that myself if you would like, but to see how can we get, specifically thinking there's a demographic of young professionals that live and work in these communities, and they're not here. And I'm a representative of that. I actually see a couple here tonight, but I would love to see how we can get them more involved so that the work that we're doing can continue and we can get more input, more innovation, and maybe we can stop some of the last minute, oh my goodness, what's going on, if we can get everyone included. If that makes sense.
Well, I think too that personally coming to a meeting is far more effective than utilizing Facebook. And it seems like there are many people that have opinions. They voice those opinions on Facebook, but they won't come forth to a meeting and actually articulate what
There might be extenuating circumstances.
Right, and we did move it to 5:30, so it would be more accessible for people that work.
And Wednesday.
Yeah, so,
It used to be on Friday.
well, that was, Friday was tough, I think, for people to,
Yeah. Hey, Ray.
Ray Frederick, Upper Lake. What you're talking about, the biochar for the last few weeks from last meeting, I've been watching Facebook, and there's a lot of community people that are talking on Facebook, but they don't want to show up to a meeting. In some of the pictures they're showing on Facebook, they're showing what they're talking about here is a small plant compared to some of the pictures people are posting. I mean, I watched one that it was posting a power plant shooting steam out of the stacks, and they're using that as an example of what they're going to build here. Well, if we can get anybody that knows these people on Facebook to tell them to come to a meeting and listen to the people at the meeting instead of listening to everybody's rumors, because I mean, it's Facebook. I mean, you got to believe what's on Facebook.
Well,
Now I'm hearing members here tonight said they went to the planning commission and they're supposed to be bringing material down from Barton Springs. Well, last week on the computer, on Facebook, they were saying they're going to start bringing stuff out of Fort Bragg and Humboldt County.
okay. So
So people read that and they're going, what the hell's going on? And I know a few people that are posting stuff that if they'd come to one of these meetings, they'd get a little bit more knowledge of what's going on than to listen to their buddies saying they're going to burn down Upper Lake. Because basically that's what everybody's thinking. You won't be able to go outside and breathe and all this. But I don't know how we can get around, try to get to these people to come to a meeting. You can see the people that are here, the same people from Upper Lake, and this is my complaint all the time. If people in this city was really worried about stuff, they'd come to these meetings instead of coming to a meeting and packing the room and not getting any results.
and
Okay.
We've been coming here for a few years,
Yeah.
and finally they're starting to work on some of the stuff we've asked for. But
It takes, there's a certain
you
amount
got
of
Power Road
sacrifice.
people
Yeah.
from Nice, you got Blue Lakes. I mean, I know there's more people sitting at home drinking a beer right now that they could come to this meeting.
Maybe
you know?
that's the solution. Bring the community.
I'm retired now. When I was working, I had to get up at 3 o'clock every morning, but I still come to this meeting. And that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ray, I think
Just before you go,
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think people have said they didn't know anything about the WRTH, but Tim posts the agenda. I always, each week, 3 or 4 days ahead, announce the meeting and welcome everybody to come. So I'm kind of uncertain as to why people say they don't know anything about the WRTH.
When I see your posts on Facebook, I usually share it to get the people I know to come to it. I don't think anybody here tonight or last meeting when we had the gentleman here come from the trailer park behind Judy's Junction. I mean, if somebody wanted to complain and bitch about it, somebody should let them know, because that's right next door.
well, that's where Betsy is.
I mean-
She knows.
But
Of course.
isn't Betsy just on Facebook?
She's on
or
Zoom. She's on Zoom.
Zoom?
Yeah.
I mean, you got 300 people living in that place with kids. You know, just, you know.
Well, that's kind of a topic of general outreach, isn't it? That maybe people don't feel like we're effective at anything. Maybe it's not a venue that they think is worth doing something for. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
I also think it's really important. Those are great points. I think it's also really important that if Facebook is our right now it is our primary. I see the Worth page, and then in Upper Lake Connect, which is an effective tool to reach some people. But if that's the primary way we're reaching out, then I have to be friends with you on Facebook, or I have to know people that you know, which, I mean, it's Upper Lake, so we do, but.
Even on Upper Lake Connect?
No. Well, you have to join that group.
Oh.
I didn't know to join. I've lived, I didn't know to join that group until someone told me to join it. So I think that's what we're saying. I'm proposing in the new year, we do go to the trailer park and we say, hey, this is what's happening. You can come. This is what it is. We invite you personally. And I wonder how effective that would be.
Slip a card in the door.
Yeah, little postcard.
And along with that, Lisa, I think one of the issues behind the biochar initiative was that many folks within that radius did not receive the letters of intent. So, from the county.
Okay. Which is one of the things we sort of
We talked.
we complained about at the planning commission meeting, is that there wasn't enough information being published to the general population.
I was just going to add to what you said, is that highlighting the things that have been championed by this group, I think that's another thing, because there has been a lot. There has. And I know that you're frustrated still, but it is coming next month. It just got really pushed back for that presentation, but it is. Cal Recycle's coming again. And so that's to explain and give you all the opportunity. But a lot of the things that's come from this meeting, this group, has got done because of this group. Some things are still slower than others, but at the same time, a lot has got done because of this group. So highlight that.
Thank you, EJ. Dennis.
Kate has been monitoring from home, and I'm supposed to give Kate's number to Lynn Stromale.
Lynn, over there. Lynn, yeah.
Her phone number?
Do it privately.
Right. Share it on them.
Hello, Thomas. Julia.
Hi, so getting back to the agenda item of moving forward and wanting to do things by the book, I just wanted to remind everyone that the Worth is under the Brown Act. So when 3 of you speak, you're violating the Brown Act. Only 2 of you can. Just a reminder of that. Thank you.
3 of the council members? When they're speaking?
But
to each
not
other,
when you're in
not at a meeting?
When you're in a meeting.
Yeah, I don't remember when Lisa said Thomas, I don't remember when we were.
It was at this meeting.
Okay, good.
It was at last meeting.
Oh, 4. Thank you, EJ. Just a reminder that you're under that umbrella.
Yes,
that's all.
and I appreciate your reminders, and I would ask you to continue to remind us when it's necessary. I'm serious.
I'm not the monitor, but you were talking
Well,
about doing everything by the book, and I thought this would be a good time to mention the Brown
The
Act.
referee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Okay. Point of order.
Yes, sir.
Thomas is here, and he's ready to speak about meetings in Nice.
Okay, so we are going back to the Worth going forward, item 4, which we were talking about, and we had mentioned that we were trying to find a venue in Nice to have a Worth meeting. Thomas, do you have any?
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. What did I miss? No, I'm just kidding. I'll check the video out. I'll check the replay. We want to put more. Did we already talk about this, or is this brand new right now?
For you
okay.
right now.
We did discuss it some, but when we had talked, you had, you were going to investigate.
Well, I still need to, but the idea was to go to maybe alternate, or maybe at some point next year, have a meeting in Nice at the Nice Event Center, if I can make it happen. Since, I have connections now because my wife and the team over there at Vision Hope Village use that as their home base. And we like to get more emphasis on Nice, too. I think we definitely want to emphasize anything that's important in the overall scope of our meetings, but we've been really focusing on, we've focused on Pile Road, but I think we need to just be in the geographically in Nice to kind of bring it back over there next year. So if you're interested, I can still investigate that and make sure it can happen, make sure we have the right Wi-Fi. That'll have to be available.
Thomas has said that he has Starlink.
Oh, you're on Starlink now? Excellent. So you don't have to worry about anywhere you're at.
He doesn't have to have anybody else's Wi-Fi.
So.
And EJ mentioned that we have monies available.
I don't know if we'll have to rent it. There's a scheduling issue with an exercise program there, and I'd have to rearrange it. So I'll look into that if everybody's open to that.
Thomas had mentioned that everything is cool as long as it's the same time and day.
As long as our meetings are.
Yeah, it would be at 5:30, but right now there's a scheduling conflict with an exercise class. I have to.
On a Wednesday?
Yeah, that's a pretty.
Okay.
So I'll have to look into that. But if everybody's open to that, I'll definitely look into it for next year. And would everybody be open to coming to Nice? Maybe.
As long as it's on the same.
Yeah, it'll be on the same day and the same time period, but Nice would be the Nice Event Center instead of here.
So if you have the opportunity to make that deal, that's great.
Yeah, let me look into that.
Also, with the funding I'm talking about, you could use that to do mail-outs with the group in Lake. I can't think of their name in Lakeport. They usually do the mail-outs for anything. If we give them the addresses and whatnot, they'll send it to the Upper Lake folks. They did the same thing for that meeting that we had here a while back. So we can work that out.
Okay, thanks, guys.
I think Claudine had a question as well about what your thoughts were on if Nice residents would attend, if it would increase the Nice participation being in Nice. Is that right, Claudine? Yes.
Of course, once we advertise and get more people available, I don't know if I think one of the main, I'm sure you've talked about this already because we were going to, I missed a half an hour, but getting more people.
What is going on? We have people speaking, and I need order. I'm picking up all of your conversation right now.
I think once we have more people, I think we want to engage more people. I mean, you guys are awesome who come here and engage the issues in your area specifically, but we want to bring even more people out to Nice, and if we're closer there, maybe they'll feel more compelled to come to those meetings. But we definitely have to figure out a better advertising or more of a advertising or a communication to the community so they're aware of it.
Which will be part of the process of looking at Nice.
Well, I think if you have meetings in Nice or if you have meetings here, I think for 2025, the goal is to
increase
participation. We want everybody to come out and have a voice in the community.
Yeah.
They can definitely be on Facebook, which we get a lot of that on, and that's easy to but to come to the meetings and voice your opinion or Zoom in, we want to have that as a goal, I believe.
Sorry?
Say something at the mic about Nice.
All right, I'll give you 3 minutes.
Well, I'll be real quick.
Thank you.
This nice gentleman over here was going to help, but there's a lot of people. Yeah, I'm a short person. Okay, I'm about 4'9". A lot of people in Nice that I talk to, my neighbors and my community, we really want to clean up the blight in downtown Nice with all the homeless and trash and abandoned cars.
Okay, yeah,
And it's been really difficult. People are scared.
I understand.
do that in
That's
Nice.
not
So-
exactly what we're talking about
Well,
now, but
just
I appreciate it.
pointing out the fear
I understand.
in Nice, that people
I understand.
are
Thank you,
afraid.
Lynn. Thank you.
I think that mic needs to be off. That's where he's picking up that noise.
It will be off, except when it's being used.
Yes.
All right. It's off at the moment.
I
Okay.
think, Tim,
So, Lisa,
sorry. I think as we're talking about this committee going forward, and Julia mentioning the Brown Act reminded me, I think maybe in the new year, one of the things that we can do when we're doing this outreach is maybe one of the first meetings can be about what the purpose of this group is, and maybe some high notes on how it functions or how it operates. Because there was, after last month's meeting, there was a lot of misinformation about what's allowed, what's not allowed, what we do, what we don't do, should we come, don't come because it's this or it's that. And so I think maybe that would be a good opportunity, starting the new year and starting a different process for our committees or our council, that it might be a good opportunity to start in the beginning having a presentation so community members can come and get an understanding. And maybe we do a big outreach for that meeting to get as many folks here to say, hey, this is what we are, this is what we do, and this is how we operate. And that might give them a chance to say, yeah, that is something I want to sign on, or I want to make sure I make that a priority because that sounds like something I'd be interested in.
I think that's an awesome idea. So I knew nothing about what a town hall was or what you guys represented or anything until, of course, I had a problem. And then I'm like, where do I go? Who do I reach out to? And then I was led to this meeting by EJ. And it's been super helpful because you guys helped me to learn processes and where to turn to and things like that, and help to get my voice into the right place. And so I think that you really do need some way to tell people what you can offer them, and just to let them know. Also, as far as outreach to tell people, I think your best bet is gonna be on foot, flyers, going door to door, and that sounds tedious and a pain in the ass, or a pain in the butt, and but I think that's what you need to do, is to get volunteers who really want the community and want to get other people out here, is to spend a Saturday like right before a meeting or something like that, when people are usually home or something, and go out and pass flyers out to whichever area that you're really focusing on, and to get them to come and be more involved. Say the meeting's in Upper Lake this week, okay, let's do Upper Lake, and the next month it's in Nice. I think it's a great idea bouncing back and forth. I have no problem driving back and forth, but I have a car. People in these communities don't have reliable transportation all the time, so it is important to be in both of them. So that's just my opinion.
thank you, Angie. It almost sounds to me like we need a meeting to explain what the meetings are for. Like have a special meeting where you don't talk about anything except what the town hall is for. But that doesn't seem very.
Well, it's been in place since 2017.
2017.
And I think that, it is an opportunity for the citizens to come forth with their concerns, their opinions, and, we take that into, just, that's great for them to explain that. And then we try to outreach, and it, ultimately depends on the response from the departments that we're outreaching to as far as results, so. And again, we need to increase our numbers, and if it means going into Nice, then in some way or, form, we should do that.
All right. Okay, I think we're probably going to move on and get to some subcommittees now, because we're running short again. That's one thing we're going to try to do, is get out of here by 7. So I thank everybody for their ideas and their opinions, and I appreciate that. And hopefully we can, move forward in a reasonable fashion. And it's just, it only makes sense to me that the more people we have involved, the better things will be for everybody. So anyway, so subcommittee number 1, Pile Road. Do you want to have you had a presentation? Did you want to show that? No. Okay, you want to say something? Okay. All right.
My name is Dave Hendrick. I'm co-chair of the Pile Road Subcommittee. And I sent an email to Marcus 2 weeks ago, which he didn't respond to. Then I sent another one last week, and he did respond to it. And his response was pretty generic. I'll read it. The abatement for Jackson Street is still scheduled. We were trying to have it completed before the winter break, but we're unable. I am talking to our contractors to see if we can safely complete the abatement within this week, as the weather does not indicate there will be any rain for the next couple of days. I will only move forward with this abatement if it is safe to do so. Worst case, it will happen first opportunity of January. The abatement of the trash and vehicles in these hills is proceeding as scheduled. So I had asked for a specific date, or give us dates so that we would have some kind of idea when anything would be happening. And this was his response to this, which is pretty much the way it's been going. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you, David. All right.
Can I just,
sorry,
I'm sorry, can I
Thomas.
have a word here on that? EJ, are we gonna, you said next month, we're gonna have them in front of the board and we'll get an opportunity to put public input. Thank you for your comments on that.
What's happening next month?
So I had talked to, is this on? Let me make sure. Yeah, so I talked to Dave before. We were trying to get them there for it so they'd have a slide and whatnot, because we didn't have the worth on as like a presentation. They had the math. So I guess they're in the order first, but either way, was still going to work to get like one of your slides up and give you a chance to speak on when the Cal Recycling grant was explained. There's also another group out of Clear Lake Oaks, or Clear Lake, that works on the Sulphur Bank Road. They pick up garbage, and they're also wanting to know a lot about this too. So I think I might connect you guys as well, but because of the same reason, the Cal Recycle grant. So it was supposed to be on at 1, I think it was 1:30. On no, that was it was like 2 for this meeting, but it got pushed back. We got so far behind. But next month on the 7th, it should be on. I just don't have the exact time, but I just know it's on. Yeah, that's right. It's just on for the 7th. There was no time given. So.
And they're going to be explaining to you what they're doing?
Cal Recycle grant, yes.
And are they going to give you any kind of dates or of implementation of?
That's where that should happen. Yeah.
Because I think the frustrating thing we've had here, and maybe, is these departments work on these grants, and I'm glad they're going to have them, but then we can't get Dave, we reach out to him multiple times, as you know, and it's just, there's no scheduling. It seems like they're just kind of like, okay, we're going to try to get this Jackson Street project, which I'm not sure where that's at, and then there's no, I don't understand it. I've talked about this for years when I've been here. The time management issue of the county departments. It just seems they're allowed to just wait as long, or a reply with, oh, well, we're going to get to it. Any other kind of reality in any business or any kind of organization, you're not allowed to have that type of flexibility. Thank you, Tim. Flexibility. So hopefully, as chairman next year, which you're going to be, right?
I've been before, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we can speak to that for 2025. I mean,
speak to
getting more concrete goals from our departments when things are going to get
and
done.
that also will be a time when they have the They usually come up and do a presentation for the year, so if you tune in or come to that,
Yeah,
that's another place
absolutely.
we can emphasize those types of goals and those type of commitments as well.
And then maybe explain if they can't get to those goals, exactly why that is happening and what's creating the delay. So we have a better understanding of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Upper Lake traffic safety. Do you have any comments? Nothing.
I do. Yes, I've made it a point to contact the CHP a couple times a month. I've spoken to Sergeant Dye, Sergeant Skeen, and just recently to Sergeant, I believe it was Dawson, explaining the situation of our concern regarding the elementary school. Now, the school has put up a no left-hand turn sign and the stop sign, which are effective, and I could sit up on my front porch and watch people just ignore those signs altogether. The folks pull out right in front of the buses and just are not paying attention to the laws of the road. So I'm going to continue with contacting them. They did say that it is on their quote roster to make drive-bys at a variety of schools at different hours of the day. I said that would be great. And so he casually said, if you think you have it bad in Upper Lake, you should really see what's going on in Lower Lake. And I said, well, I don't know, what you're pertaining to. But he said that I guess they had to actually impound a car with a mother in it who was blowing through the stop signs. And I guess it's very problematic down there as well. But I'm hoping that they will take it seriously. And this town is, it's treacherous now. People are tailgating, they're speeding, they are not in any way, shape, or form trying to obey the laws of the road. So anyway, I'm not going to give up, just keep at it, and hopefully we can curb the drop-off and pick-up at Upper Lake Elementary.
Get yourself a paintball gun.
Oh, yeah, I could.
Thank you, Claudine.
Sure.
Okay. All right. We are going to hear from Julia about Upper Lake Levees, our newest subcommittee. And she has a presentation as well.
Hi, Julia Carrera, Chair, Worth Upper Lake Levy Subcommittee. Last month, the Worth decided to create a subcommittee and decided to make me the chair. So anyway, I would like to introduce you to the members of the subcommittee that are here. Walt Christensen, who just, by the way, was elected as North Shore Fire Board of Director member. Walt, there you go. And John, I don't want to butcher your last name. Laboita, thank you. John has been a farmer here in Upper Lake for a while now and is very knowledgeable about the levee system, particularly the diversion gates which are adjacent to his property. We had another member who has a significant health challenge that she was just made aware of, so we are looking for one more member if anyone would like to join us. Both Walt and I also sit on the Upper Lake Community Services District Formation Committee, who has been working diligently to create a community services district for Upper Lake through Supervisor Crandall and the county. And they put together...
That's not accurate. We're working to see how you can go about it. The county's not doing it.
Right, I'm sorry, I didn't think I said that. I apologize if it came across that way. We're a formation committee. Thank you, Supervisor Crandall. And so we, actually Ben and I, who are not professional drone people or video people, created drone footage of the levee system so that the public can see what's really going on. We've only gotten one section from Highway 20, the bridge there, to the confluence with Middle Creek, the historic Middle Creek, over across Elk Mountain Bridge to the confluence of Alley and, John, help me, Clover, thank you, creeks. So I'm going to present that tonight. We also sent, right after our first meeting, a letter to the Worth members suggesting 4 items that they might want to do immediately, since we are in a state of emergency as identified by Coleman's excavation of Pitney Lane Bridge during the last significant rain event before this last one, where they excavated gravel at the direction of Linda Bell, our county levy coordinator, supervisor? I don't know what her formal, yeah, Linda, did I say Laura? My apology. Linda, my apology. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead, unless you guys have any questions, show you the footage, and maybe we could take questions afterwards if you have some.
How do you turn this on? I couldn't turn it on.
It should be on.
It should just go. Okay, well then maybe do it. There it comes. There it comes. Okay, I'm going to turn the light off.
As you can see, I'm an environmental scientist. Oh, thank you. I thought I got my glasses up. So I didn't. So I have a little pointer here, so I'm going to narrate a little bit.
Make it. Oh, you make it full screen. No, there's no volume control.
Okay, so we are heading, as you saw the title. And what we're looking at is the channel and the flood banks. This green area on each side is the flood area for the channel. The channel is where all the vegetation is, and hold on, let me stop right here. This is the slough-off area. Yes, it is getting worse and worse. It's deeper and longer. This is the project that Angela De Palma acquired a grant through Caltrans to, I believe, do the design, and Supervisor Crandall, please correct me if I'm somehow misspeaking, of the repairs. Since that time, they've used up all that money and did not have any more money to move forward. The last update I got from Angela is that she has identified new funds to continue to move forward. But with the holiday now coming with the county closing, I don't have an update on when that might be happening and what would be happening. But just so everybody can see, again, I mean, it's growing. It's going all the way back there. This is the sloughed off area of the channel bank of the flood area. So what you see here is what an environmental person or biologist would call a vegetative dam. What you're going to see later is all the gravel dams. This should be a channel that's clear and only water flowing through it. That's not the case, and that's when you have large amounts of vegetation like this, the water goes around it and erodes the banks of the levee channel, in this case, all the way into the floodplain area. And as you all probably know, when we get significant rain, the water ends up here, which is not, well, according to FEMA, we have to have 3 feet of freeboard, which means at high water, we have to have 3 feet between here and here for FEMA to be able to kick in. We don't have that. So I'm going to keep moving on here. You can see the channel in some areas there. This is Middle Creek and a confluence in this area. So what I'd like to point out here is there's some concern with the current design of the repair for that slough off, that once the water starts moving, this whole area, which as you can see right here has an island, and if you go right here, look at that, that's all gravel. This is gravel. That shouldn't be there. There's a check dam right here. That's what those rocks are. Check dams are to slow water down, and you will always most likely see them right at a confluence like this.
Julie, was that a construction at check dam?
Yeah, all check dams are man-made.
Was that part of the construction of the levees?
I don't believe so. But
Formed of its own?
no, they were placed there. It could have been original, but I don't have data to really knowledgeably respond to your point. Sorry, but I can get it. Okay. So we're now going from the Elk Mountain Bridge east towards John's Farm, which is to the right, and the diversion gates. Channel, vegetation. Gravel, gravel, lots of gravel. Those aren't banks. Those aren't banks. That's the flood zone area, floodplain. And
those were just mowed a couple months ago. 2 months ago, those were 5 to 6 foot tall and nothing but grass.
And this right here is the fire break. They're going to be burning just the grass, not the material inside. Right. In fact, what we're discovering at the Community Services District, that all inspections done by the Army Corps of Engineers, the State Water Resources Control Board, Fish and Wildlife, and the county are done solely on the earthen banks. Nothing is being done in the channel, no inspections. So one of the questions we requested Worth to do was to request an in-channel inspection. Channel, gravel, vegetation. Oh, hold on. These right here, where's my pointer? There we go. This is the walkabout on top of the diversion gates, which are right here. Do you see the gray there?
Yeah.
Those are the diversion gates to the historic Clover Creek. This is all gravel, vegetation and gravel. So the water goes over here, it pools around here. There's some erosion control right here. They recently did some work, I'm not sure what. This is the fire break for when they burn this area, not this area. So again, here's a bank, and then all of this is like an island of gravel and vegetation, and there's a little bank over here somewhere in this vegetation.
The opposite bank.
Yes, the opposite bank. Yes, and so as you can see, the water splits in two here because of the gravel and vegetative dam. That should not be here. There should be water flowing the whole width without any kind of blockage or workaround for the water. Gravel, all in where the channel is supposed to be. This is where the banks are. Vegetation, gravel, that's all gravel. And now we're coming upon a convergence, but look at, or the confluence. Look at all the vegetation here.
It's beautiful.
Well,
Who said that?
there's nowhere for the water to flow properly. Yeah, the jungle cruise. Okay, now we're over at Highway 20. Yes, Walt, our committee member, would like to speak.
So, hang on.
If you could grab the microphone.
Walt wasn't here at the beginning of the meeting.
I was here at the beginning of the meeting.
Well, she didn't know.
I take objections to people making fun of the growth in the channel. This is part of the problem that has been growing for 75 years since the channel was reconstructed with the Army Corps of Engineers. So to make fun of it or make light of it is exacerbating the problem that we're facing as a committee and a community to get this solved so that the town doesn't flood. That's all.
And before I start it back up, this is all gravel. This should be all water, and it's all gravel. Gravel, look at all that gravel. This is water, this is vegetation, but this is a dam. This is more like what it should be looking like right here, but we've got gravel again. Here we go. This is all gravel, damming up the water flow. This is a little better here, but yes, going east, all gravel. Look at all that gravel. Again, these are the floodplain areas. Oh, look at this island of gravel. It's huge. More gravel. Oh, more gravel. So the Upper Lake Community Services District is going to be writing a letter at the first part of January to the Board of Supervisors requesting this Community Services District. And we're going to include this footage in our emailed letter to them. This is all gravel. This is the channel. The channel should be from right here to right here, but it's not. That's a huge gravel island. That's the biggest one there is that we've seen on our footage thus far, but again, we've only done this section because of rains. Gravel. This is all gravel. More gravel. All this should be full of water. Should be up to the mowed area, should be water. This is another large gravel beach that shouldn't be there, and here too. I want to thank Ben for doing, we used his drone and he operated it. So here's the check dam that we originally saw. Here's the gravel in front of it. And here's the confluence of the two. And we're heading up Mill Creek, historic Mill Creek. And this is about the end because the battery ran out. Okay, that's it. Walter, John, did you want to add anything as committee members? Next Worth meeting, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be completely dedicated to the Upper Lake. Yeah, the Upper Lake levy. So we're also sending this to them, them being the Water Resources Department.
The original letters that we sent to the Board of Supervisors.
Right. You already did send those, didn't you? Yeah, you did. So the goal here is to bring awareness to our community, the water resources staff and the county of what we're actually facing. And is it okay if I take questions?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Can you get the lights? Yes. You want to come to the microphone? Yeah, all the questions, that's their new rule. Oh, you're going to walk? Okay. Oh, okay. We need one microphone for question and answer.
Let's put this in here.
Okay.
I'm a very short person, so 4 foot tall.
Say again?
The mic just, it tilts.
It's,
It'll tilt up and down.
say that again, Colin?
It'll tilt up and down.
This way, oh, yeah. I understand. I got it.
Okay. Testing, does it work? Test, test. President Biden, who I voted for, passed an infrastructure bill, which I don't know if the new administration, they're taking away $3 trillion or something for Project 2025. I mean, is this because of money that this isn't getting done? Because it should be part of Newsom with President Biden doing this. This is part of infrastructure.
So I like your question,
Is that
Nancy.
why it's not been done?
Well, I can't answer the question as to why it hasn't been done. We all get taxed for maintenance fees. I don't know where that money has
Well,
gone. I
there
don't
could be
think
corporations get taxed to pay for this. This
Yeah.
should be part of the infrastructure of President Biden, who passed with Congress.
Well, right now,
do this.
Right. So right now there are funds available to fix that.
Okay.
And it's the fact that we have to have a governing body to acquire that funds or are willing to go after those funds and acquire them and do the work.
Okay.
And so that's what we're waiting on.
Okay, because this creates jobs for people.
Sure does. And
In Lake
gravel.
County, yeah.
Coleman left.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
creates jobs.
Yeah.
So, okay, amen.
Thank you.
Julia, I have
Thank
a
you,
couple
Linda.
questions.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
First, thank you. I have been trying to research levies, and without a visual representation, I was lost in the sauce. So this video footage was extremely helpful, so thank you for that. A question about the channel. So when we're talking about vegetation, and I haven't taken an ag class in like 15 years, so forgive me if I misspeak. But are we requesting to remove all vegetation, which from my understanding would potentially lead to additional erosion, or are we requesting to remove part of the vegetation? What is that?
Channel vegetation. So the vegetation dams and the gravel dams in the channel.
Okay.
And so if you, here, it's just easier to use this. Thank you. So if you see this, okay, so we're going to say this is the channel because this is the visual channel that we all see, even though the channel should be from here to here. Mm-hmm. So here's the channel. Here's the vegetation in the channel. Okay. So if we would move vegetation in the channel. So if we go up to where that sloughed bank was, if that bank was restored, we would move the vegetation from the restored bank edge to the other side restored bank edge, only the vegetation in the channel.
So we would keep vegetation on the side.
Correct. So that's part of the problem with these inspections is that nobody's inspecting the channel. Mm-hmm. Yes, John?
Okay, so what you're looking at here,
Press that red button.
I don't need it, this will be fine. What you're looking at here is the flood control channel. this channel was intended to take very high flows from Clover and Alley Creek and scoot them over to Middle Creek, rather than having them go down through the creek through town. When this was built, there was no vegetation at all in there. And for a long time, it was kept that way. How it's managed to grow up like this, well, lots of speculations about that. But the way this was supposed to work, this was that a lot of the time, there wasn't supposed to be any water at all in this flood control channel. Only during really high flows was water going to splash over and go down that way. But what has occurred over all the years that this has been in place is that, I'll just say millions of tons, it could be more, of sand and gravel has come down from the hills. That sand and gravel used to spread itself out all over the floodplain in Upper Lake, all over the valley. The streams meandered all over the place and deposited some gravel, and they moved over here and deposited some more gravel. But once the levees were built, it was confined. And so there it is. You know, we have to figure out a way to maintain it, and that's what we're up against.
My other
Apparently,
question.
apparently the guys that built this, and they were the same guys that built the Sacramento River levees, the Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Reclamation, back then, somehow they never thought about this thing about the gravel coming down from the hills. You know, what, 70 years ago? I don't know.
You're a mind reader because you just answered my second question, which is where did the gravel come from?
It comes from it's always come. It's never not come. It comes from the National Forest. It comes from the properties that are upstream. It comes from upstream creeks that flood and flow into it. It comes from a variety of different places. And historically, it has been removed because that's the ongoing process of the design of these levees. It must always be removed. It can't stop from being removed, or we end up with this.
But somehow, naturally, the gravel is moved by the stream.
Usually by high
water flows.
High water flows because of high rain events.
It scours the channels.
Yes, exactly.
Of everything.
Yeah,
the stream,
that's natural
and
hydrology.
It all ends up in the slough or in the lake?
Well, we have a shallow lake.
Full of gravel.
It's going to end up somewhere, and the lake is part of that. It depends on the type of flow and hydrology, and I'm not a licensed hydrologist to really give the proper formal answer. All I have is an understanding of hydrology as an environmental scientist, so yes.
When you cross the bridge when cut off, you have to look out for the lake.
You can see that.
There's a big hump out there.
Yep.
That's all gravel. That's all the gravel that's made it down that far.
Does that need to be removed too?
I think so.
According to the original design of this whole system, that bridge over there is removable so that it can be cleaned out, but it never has been.
All right.
Any other questions?
Thomas.
Yeah, we toured this area just last week. Physically wanted to see, you know, I've rode my bike through this area but never walked the pathways, and some of this video shows exactly where we were at. And then we went by Clover Creek, and I know that was a project in the water department. They were supposed to do abatement on that creek this year or next year. Do we know if anything abatement? It looked like it was still full of blackberry bushes and.
Well, the Upper Lake Community Services District Formation Committee has met a couple times with Water Resources staff and director. And there is a maintenance schedule, and I think it was passed around at the last Worth meeting that Linda was at. And in that maintenance schedule are are things to do that you're speaking to, Thomas. And there's only 3 staff to do it, Linda and the 2 hard workers. So while it's great to have a maintenance schedule and do the maintenance, maintenance keeps things where they're at, and we need more than maintenance. We need remediation, intervention, in my opinion, and we need the pathway forward to be able to do that. And one way or another, I would assume we will get that pathway forward if we are persistent and professional and provide facts, and we'll see where it all goes. I don't know where it's going to go yet.
You sent me an email and asked what I thought the presentation to Linda Rosa's bill should be in January. You might not remember that, but
I'm sorry, I sent you an email with what? I would remember.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I remembered that you basically asked me what you thought you should present to her.
What I asked, thank you, yes. We asked the W.R.T.H board what they would like the committee to present at that meeting.
All right, so basically, considering the 2 letters that we sent to the Board of Supervisors with the pictures of what the channel, the levees and the channel looked like when they were first built, and it looks like it's the moon. You know, it's just completely bare and rock. There's no.
What a levee is supposed to look like, I might add.
There's no channel. It's all channel sort of thing.
Well, it is. A levee is a very wide and deep channel that's man-made. It's basically a man-made irrigation ditch.
But the purpose of that channel was to move water.
Correct.
There's no other purpose for it being made.
Correct.
And that's what we have to say to her. We don't want it maintained, we want it restored to what it was when it was made. So otherwise there's no point in having it there if it's not fulfilling the purpose for which it was created. Okay,
we're on the same page.
Tim, just to call attention to the time, there's 5 minutes left for our meeting, and I did want to see if I have Julia's formal requests from the committee, and I wanted to see if we can discuss and act on it as a board council.
Oh, okay. I'm not. Thank you, Julie. This is the request that Julie was talking about?
It's a request from the committee. So the committee sent the town hall 4 recommendations. The first recommendation is to continue to write letters to the Board of Supervisors as a follow-up to the 2 prior letters sent on an ongoing basis and to date these letters. That's the first recommendation. The second is to make a formal request to the Board of Supervisors and Department of Water Resources staff, she lists the contact information there, that any agency doing any type of inspection on the levee system includes a town hall representative during that inspection. The third is to make a formal request to the Board of Supervisors and the Department of Water Resources staff to conduct an inspection on the levee channel, which Julia mentioned in her presentation. And the fourth is to make a formal request to the Board of Supervisors and Department of Water Resources staff to immediately reinstate gravel extraction of the levees of more than 5,000 cubic yards. And I would like to make a motion that the town hall accepts all 4 recommendations.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion about the motions?
Pretty clear.
So basically, we are going to write letters.
We will write 1 letter to continue. I haven't seen the previous letters. I think, correct me if I misspeak here. I think we can actually tackle these with two things. One would be an email to the Pawan and Linda that formally requests the three things that are formally requested. And the second would be to write a letter, an updated letter that's a continuance of the letters that we previously wrote. Is that accurate?
Okay, right. Well, who's going to do the writing?
I'll do it.
All right. Then we have a motion and a second.
On the letters themselves, you're going to write it and then send it out to the Worth members? to
Absolutely.
review? Okay.
Yes, I'll send to everyone to review. I think that might actually, depending on the language, we might actually want to read it here in the next meeting.
So, EJ,
Yeah, because she asked me a question, I gave you an answer, so I wanted to answer it because.
can I get you to come up there? Sorry.
Yeah. And it was just about, well, what I do know is you mentioned the cow transplant. They didn't lose the funding for that. That's still, and that's still supposed to happen. And I think the best way to find out what's happening with that is to have Angela come, because she's in charge of that,
Yeah, that was approved
Right. No, she says it's on schedule and she needs to do an update to you all for that. So I don't know why she hasn't. I think, I'm not the professional, Angela is, and I check in with her all the time. She says that's still going to happen. So that's just that side, not refuting anything you're saying. I think that's a great video. I think the board needs to see it. I think everyone needs to see it in the county so they can know. Also, another thing to mention is that the taxes. We have to make sure to know and highlight this, and I think you should probably clarify this in your letter, is the continuing thought is that there's enough tax funding that comes from this tax in this currently Zone 8 to cover the levies and what it takes. Is the Coleman still here, or did they leave, you said? Because I'd like to just like kind of get a feel for how much it would cost to remove that and the vegetation, right? Because what I do know, and when I ask, and I think we need to just keep pushing like you're doing and ask again, is I was told that the 69 to 80,000 that they get roughly each and every other year, each year for the taxes doesn't cover what we're asking. And so that's why they've been trying to get grants, and that didn't work out here and there. So just make sure to highlight that as well. I wanted to contribute, and I think this was really nicely done. I think the work with people that you've had a part of this really is going to help to get you in the direction you want to. There's been meetings also with the formation group and Supervisor Sabatier and myself, and I've got, there's 2 avenues, and I think you've already stated that, and I think it should be noted to the community that to form their CSD that you're looking to form, 2 avenues is, 1, a hearing at the Board of Supervisors to implement there's resolution and a resolution to form it, or to present 25% of a petition to the voters. And I think that's probably the best way to go, in my opinion. I don't want to just speak for the people that are just here. I want people in the community that are taxed by this to have a say before I just bring in, a resolution to just do so without their say. So I think it's best to go that route. But again, that's something that you all will, I'm sure will let me know. So.
So sorry, point of order, there is a motion on the floor that we need to close.
Okay, I was just giving you that insight, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
We have a comment from Zoom. They're not able to use their microphone, so I can speak with it.
Okay. Yes. You want to relay their query?
Yeah, exactly. Good evening, everyone. This is Thomas from PEG TV8, and we have a comment from Kate, and forgive me for your name, Paraman. Okay, there you go. Tax Zone 8 should get their fundings acknowledged and measured against unconscionable flood losses of lives and to property damages.
And there are 2 ways. The petition, we approached both Sabatier and Supervisor Crandall saying that with this economy and people having to take second jobs, that the petition is not a feasible thing to do. People are working 18, 10 hours And so that's why we'd like to have it done through board resolution.
So, but we have to deal with this motion. A little discussion.
We're still under discussion, and
Yes.
EJ was in his own right to speak on it under discussion.
Thank you, David.
I'm not gonna say anything else, that's fine, either way.
Say again, John? Can you address? Yes, you can.
Okay, so the 5,000 cubic yards of gravel, it doesn't fly away. There's, when you say, we want that taken out of there, well, that's good, but you also have to just where you're going to put it. And what it comes down to is whether or not there's a market for the gravel. If it'll pay its way out of there, it's gone. If not, then you've got a big hurdle. So I think you really need to,
Okay. Thanks. We got more than enough. Where are we?
Call for
Can I
a
say
vote.
Can I
Say again?
Okay.
Go ahead.
On just a discussion, I'd like to know more about the gravel extraction process and how, because for many years it was taken out and, a number of folks sold it, so
I believe that will probably be a good thing to bring up next month when Linda Rose's bill is here. She's going to be the whole meeting basically, except for our subcommittees. So all of these subjects are going to be under her review, so she needs to know what we're looking at. So, Linda.
I would like Lisa to repeat her motion.
I move that the Western Region Town Hall accepts all 4 recommendations put forth by the levy subcommittee.
And we have a second for that motion.
Got a second?
But, so you're going to be writing you're going to be the heading of, you're going to be the spear of doing this writing, okay? But you're going to bring that for us to review.
Yes.
Okay, so we might have things to add to that as well.
Not a lot.
The only thing I need for clarification are, we say there's those 4 points, but what are the 4 points so that the records reflect the proper motion? Do we have it in writing?
Do we have those 4 points in
We have
writing?
an email.
We do. They're in they're in the email that was sent to all town hall members.
So,
For this.
but he,
Yes,
do you
I just
want-
wanted to make sure that the people that were,
Writing the minutes.
that didn't see that we have it here in writing, that it is in writing.
okay, that this proposal is a existing proposal. It's not, we're not making it up tonight. It's already existing,
was
and
recommended.
we're approving it as an official act of the council. All right,
Possibly.
right, yeah, and I would like to see it come back.
for review.
Right.
Yes, nothing goes out
No.
before we look at it.
Right.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. You're welcome, Julia. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the
Do you have any
meeting at,
Oh, sorry,
Hold it.
sorry.
Were there any announcements?
Any announcements?
I got
Yes.
an announcement real quickly from Kate. She wanted me to announce there's a Cleaners has a grocery distribution tomorrow
Yes.
at the event center from 8 to 10 a.m. So the event center, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. will be the Cleaners grocery distribution. Thank you.
Okay, Upper Lake Senior Center tomorrow is hosting a luncheon, a Christmas luncheon from 12 to 2. All are welcome. And the food pantry for the seniors Tuesday morning was very well, I can't even think of the word. People were there.
I move to adjourn the meeting at 7:07 PM.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. The meeting's adjourned.
Kate wants your phone.